Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Sunday upload vacuum exposition. I know that it looks a little bit different where I am right now. It is a little bit echoey as well, so apologies for that. We're kind of in a corner at my in-laws' house where me and my wife are now residing. We are filming here just because at the time I'm going to be going out of town. I'm going to be going to Nashville with my wife for a little vacation, try to get away from it all for a little bit. So we will be gone this coming week, starting tomorrow. So next week's video may be a little bit late. I'm going to try to do a video a little bit on Nashville itself. So expect some coverage of that when I come back. Maybe we'll see if we can do some antiquing or thrifting and see if we can find ourselves a vacuum. Maybe if I get lucky, we'll find something and do a video right there in the hotel room. So we'll see how it goes. I'm playing it by ear right now, so kind of flying by the seat of my pants, as you will. So today we are going to get into a video that I wasn't planning on making for a while, but due to circumstances and availability of getting my machines and figuring out where I'm going to film it, we're going to do something different today. I did promise a very rare convertible that will be coming up. It's just a bit buried at the moment. So in the next upcoming weeks, I will be doing that. Of course, if anybody has any more requests or suggestions, I do have my running list going. So thank you all for those that have contributed to that. I will promise that I will get them all. Like I said, circumstantially, kind of going off of whatever I can get or get to. Have had a couple setbacks in the move, so hasn't been totally easy, but we'll get to it. So without further ado, let's get on to the video of our machine for today. All right, well, we are a little bit close to the camera today. I apologize if you're seeing a whole close-up of me today. We are limited on space, so that's why we're going to do it as best we can today. So, what we are going to look at, and it is a topic that I've been meaning to talk about for quite a while, and it's the topic of daily drivers. What is a daily driver, you may ask? Well, it's just that. It's the vacuum you use on the regular, the daily, the driver of days, rather than the antiques, the collectibles, as well as the fragiles and all that nonsense. Now, I have a collection of probably around 500 to 600 machines right now, and I do not have time to go digging around and find each one and run every one of them every single day. Now, that's why we keep, as a collector, we keep a daily driver. This is mine. This is the machine that I've chosen to bring with me to use while I'm living with my in-laws until me and my wife buy a house. But this is my daily driver. This is what I chose to bring with me. And I did that mostly because it is simple. It's simple, it's powerful, it works, and I'm most comfortable with it. When something breaks, I know that I can fix it very easily. When, in contrast, I look at something like the Bison vacuum cleaner that some other people have requested a video on, and I will be getting to it. Just need a little bit more time to get things situated in the storage unit, but we will be filming that there. But that machine came out around the same time as this, interestingly enough, but if something breaks on a Bison, it's not very possible to replace that. If something breaks on this old Kirby, better chance. They made millions of the Kirbys, very similar to this. Bisons, not as much. Same thing with any of the other vacuums I've pictured on this channel. A lot of them have been very, very hard to find. So when something breaks that's specific to that model, it could take years to find parts to fix that. So, as collectors, we keep daily drivers. Now this one was actually a vacuum I kind of wanted to find for quite some time for a couple of very specific reasons. Now, the Kirby Classic Omega is what this is. These debuted in around the 1972-1973 time frame. Prior to that, there was a machine called the Kirby Classic 1CR, which precluded this, but the Omega did come out with some additions as well as improvements to the model prior. I'll show a picture of the actual Classic 1CR, very similar looking to this. As you can see, it did still carry on that wood-grained overlay, just kind of continuance of that. Big difference between a lot of the 1CR as well as the Omega here. The trim pieces on the 1CR, as you could maybe tell, were a little bit more chocolate brown, like a milk chocolate brown, whereas these went to more of a dark chocolate rosewood color. Of course, they added the Omega symbol on the front as well. But the big difference that a lot of people understand and a lot of people know is the motor. Now, the 1CR was still using the motor from early 500 series Kirby's, so it was quite a bit smaller. So it did lack the oomph that a lot of the later Kirby's needed, especially when we were looking at the mid-70s time frame when this was most popular, because, well, the shag carpeting was everywhere. We really needed, you know, that extra power. In addition to that, the Classic Omega also featured things like the shag rake, which was a, well, ill-working big rake on the front of here, kind of just bunch of teeth, thought to basically comb out the shag carpeting. As far as I know, it didn't do very much. I mean, shag you get stuck in anyways, so I mean, trying to vacuum it, very difficult. But either way, now this particular model is a bit of an early Classic Omega. And the reason why I say that is it does come with a pinstripe bag. The pinstripe bag usually came on the models, I think that were in 1972 to 1974. So kind of the beginning run of the Omega itself. Now, the Omega pinstripe bag did also have the patch that said Kirby Classic Omega on the top here. As far as I can tell, mine never had that on it. I do have another bag that does have a patch that I could probably sew onto this at some point, but currently, being as it's used as my, you know, daily driven machine, I don't see a need to do that quite yet, at least not until I find a new daily driver. Now, this particular machine is a really another early addition to this one is, and I'll turn this around right here so we can see it. As you can see on this handle right here, we have screws that screw it together. Now, that doesn't really make a big difference. However, the reason why this is an early Omega is because this handle, which you know, originally started on things like the Kirby Dual Sanatronic 80. Now, this handle unfortunately tended to fail because it was two pieces of plastic screwed together, whereas they later would be made of one big thick piece of plastic that would continue all the way down. These, I have seen so many of them just snap. Now this one seems to be in really good shape. I do have a replacement for it in case it ever does break, but I have had other Classic Omegas that were snapped right here, much like a lot of them do. So, thankfully, with Kirby's, their parts are replaceable. But that is another indicative aspect that would make it an early machine, going back to 1972. So, I'll turn this around. In addition, also, we're also going to look right here. Now, around this time frame, around the Kirby Classic Omega time frame, we did see a change in the Kirby logo. They went from that what's considered the boomerang logo to the kind of the boxy, I don't really know what you would call this, electrotronical thing. It's what Kirby used into the later series. But the cord right here, you can see it. It's a circular Kirby logo with that boomerang logo in it. As I have been told, the boomerang logo was still being used on the cords, mostly because they just had it lying around, but it would be changed during this time frame. As with the other regular features of the Omega, we still did have our standard issue headlight with its cool lens here. And then we had our belt lifter, which would tell you if the belt was on or off. Previous Kirby's, it would just be based on where it would be at that you'd have to pay attention to. But with the change of the Classic and Classic Omega, they gave you a window that would tell you if it was on or off, just in case you could not already tell. So, this machine, not a paper bag machine. This is considered a dump bag or emptor bag. Essentially, you would, what the manual states, and I'll show a picture of the front of the manual right there. The manual states when you are to dump the debris out of the Kirby, you simply park it over a newspaper that you are intending on throwing away, preferably not one that you would want to save. And then you would open the little hatch door underneath. You can see the little hatch right there. And then thus dump everything out onto that newspaper clipping, of which you do not intend on keeping. So that was how that worked. Simple, easy to use. I personally love it. Those of you that have allergies, I am sorry, because a lot of people have to, change these and use maybe a later tradition setup or another type of paper bag setup, because these old Kirby's, while they do a fantastic job, they do tend to belch a little dust. If not cared for right. Now, I also launder my bag on this particular machine, as well as other Kirby's that I do intend on using frequently, to make sure that that doesn't happen. But, you can't win them all. So, this machine is a really fun one, and I love getting to run it. Like I said, it is my daily here, so, it does give me that touch of the collection, even though it is in storage right now. So let's get on to our run demo. Kind of a short little area right here that we're going to do it in, but let's get it going. All right, and here we go. Alright everybody, well thanks again for joining me for another episode of Vacuum Exposition. I know that we're in a little bit different of a location, so appreciate you still tuning in to see this fantastic Kirby still keep doing what it's doing, 50 plus years after it was made. It of course is going to continue on doing its job, at least until I find another thing that can act as my daily driver. But right now these things work absolutely fantastic, and they are great even in a commercial setting. So there's a reason why a lot of people love Kirby's, and they love them forever. But keep watching. Like I said, next week we will look at my trip to Nashville. So hopefully I'll get some coverage and do some talkie points on the old trip. See, maybe we can drop into an antique store, find a vacuum, and I'll just spit some info about it on the old cameras and then throw them up on the interwebs for you guys. So again, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week for another episode, and we'll catch you later.